Hello, today we're going to discuss how to read a ruler. There are many people that don't know how to read a ruler. It's just something that people haven't learned, and it could be a little confusing, so I'm hoping to make it a little simpler today. Just a quick note, when I was working one day, I was on the ground and my work partner was up on the scaffolding, and he was calling out a number, and he was saying like 57 in 3 lines. I didn't understand what that meant, so came down, I drew this out on a sheet of plywood, and I went over and explained to him what a 16th, an eighth, and all that. So I'm hoping that what I went through that day, I can make things easier for you. So as you can see, I have 3 different rulers here. One's a Stanley, one's a DeWalt, and one's a Milwaukee. They're all good rulers. The only thing I would caution you is whatever you're measuring, use the same ruler, whether it's the Milwaukee or the DeWalt. Don't switch between rulers because there can be small differences between what 10 inches on the Milwaukee compared to the Stanley or DeWalt. It's small amounts, but that small amount can ruin your day. And the other thing is on rulers, I'll bring this in a little closer. This piece right here slides in and out. All the rulers do this, and this is it's not broken. It's so that when you hook on like this, it extends, and then when you press up against it, it contracts, and that little bit of play that's there makes up for the thickness of the tang. And if you were to squeeze it tight, you would get inaccurate measurements. So to start off with, I made this ruler. Obviously you can see 3 inches actually equals 12 inches, but I want to make it big enough so everybody could see. We'll start out with the biggest line, as in here and here, is the 1/2 inch. Then the next smaller line is the quarter. So this would be a quarter and a quarter. So 1/4, 1/2, 3/4, 1 inch, and then it repeats. 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches, 1.75 inches, 2 inches, and so forth. The next largest line on there is 1/8 of an inch. So if you look, here's your 1/2, here's your quarter, and here is your 1/8 of an inch, just like here. So this would be 1/8. I'm sorry, here's an 1/8 of an inch, here's a quarter, here's 3/8, 1/2 inch, 5/8, 3/4, 7/8, and 1 inch. The smaller lines are 16ths. Many times we don't use 16ths in construction. We would write it out something like 3/4 heavy, which would be 3/4 and a 16th, or 3/4 light, and that would be 3/4 less a 16th, or 9/16 instead of calling out the 16th. Sometimes it can get confusing, especially if you're dealing with sheetrock and steel studs. You don't need, or wooden studs, you don't need that 16th of an inch. Isn't much of a difference because it's rough construction. If you were to make cabinets or furniture, that 16th of an inch is more important. And then again, we would still do the same thing. You either measure it in place and put a mark, or you would measure and then put down 4 15/16 heavy as opposed to 5 inches. So that heavy would be a 32nd of an inch. We don't need to know 32nd or 64ths. They're all just another division, but it's way too complicated for what you're looking to do in your house. When you're going to measure a wall to see if a cabinet fits, you're going to look at it and say it's 47.5 inches. And when you look online, if you're going to buy furniture or in the store and you measure it and it's 48 inches, you know that 48 is larger than 47.5, so it's not going to fit. You're going to have to look something else up. So what I also have here is I drew out all the numbers so you could just see. I'm sorry about that. So you have 1/16 of an inch, 1/8, an eighth is 2/16, 3/16, quarter inch. A quarter inch is 4/16, so 2/8, 5/16, 3/8 or 6/16, 7/16, and then 1/2 is 8/16 or 4/8, and so on. If you have any other questions about this, you can message me in the comment section. I would gladly reply to you. Just to show you how I would measure this piece right here, I'm going to take this, measure it, we're going to hold it up here, and I'm getting 15 1/8 of an inch. It's actually, if I was to cut this, I would either mark it or write down 15th and 1/8 heavy. I know it's not a 16th, but you can see that it falls halfway between the 1/8 and the 3/16 inch mark. Another thing that you want to do is, my ruler straight. If I was to turn the ruler this way, so it's crooked, you can see now I'm getting 15 3/16, as opposed to when we go back here, it's 15 1/8. So you want to make sure that your ruler runs parallel to whatever you're measuring. You don't want to be crooked because it'll change your measurements again, like this. Okay, I hope this helps. And if you have any questions, again, please leave your questions in the comments.